I'm trying to get a retirement visa here. I had a couple of not so great experiences with other lawyers. And so I was a little bit apprehensive in comparison to everybody else. She's on the ball, she's quick and really personable. She really hit all the buttons for me.
What I do is I travel all over Colombia. I go to cities like Medellin, Pereira, Armenia, and provide a bunch of services for expats from all over the world.
Yeah, James, great guy. He said she gave me all this information. And so now we're moving forward with the real estate situation.
A lot of you asked me about visa and legal services in Colombia, and truthfully, it can be hard to know who to trust. I've even had to turn people down from appearing on this channel because of their shady track record. But today, I'm introducing you to someone I do trust, Maria Jose. She has helped several close friends of mine, and in this video, you'll hear directly from her about visas, real estate, and how to protect yourself legally in Colombia. My name is Eric. Let's go. Let's go ahead and get to know her. What's your name?
My name is Maria Jose. I'm an immigration attorney and real estate attorney here in Colombia. I have experience in the public sector, and I got married with an American citizen. And finally, I ended up working with immigration mostly. And after that, I just decided to work with real estate and provide a bunch of services for Americans, especially and expats from all over the world that want to come and they want to establish in Colombia.
So where are you primarily doing your services from?
This is a process that you can do 100% online. So what I do is I travel all over Colombia. I visit certain customers, and I go to cities like Medellin, Pereira, Armenia, but I'm based in Eje Cafetero.
Many people come here to Colombia, myself included, and they come here as a tourist. And I'm currently on my tourist permit. Can you chat a bit about what the tourist permit entails here in Colombia?
In the case of Americans, Canadians, Europeans, they don't require, most of the Europeans, they don't require a visa, a permission to come to Colombia. You just need to bring your passport. You need to have a valid passport for at least 6 months. And then you come, they put a stamp on your passport, and you will have 90 days at the beginning that you can extend for another 90 days. You will need to go to Migración Colombia website. You need to look for a process called Permiso para prorrogar permanencia, which is an extension. And you need to fill the application online.
Besides getting this tourist permit, there are many other ways to come to Colombia. Can you talk about the other type of permits? I believe one is called visitor's visa. What are the different visas?
So we have 3 different categories of visas in Colombia. First, we have the visitor's visa, we have the migrant visa, and we have finally the resident visa. Let's talk about the visitor's visa. The visitor's visa has a nature of a more temporary stay. For visitor's visa, we have the most common ones. We have the digital nomad visa and we have the rentista visa. Let's talk about the digital nomad visa. Digital nomad visa is intended for foreigners that can develop a remote job or own a company out of Colombia. You need to work for a company that is not based in Colombia, and you need to prove whether you're an employee or you own your own company. And you make a minimum income, monthly income, that is not worth less than 3 minimum wage salaries, Colombian salaries. 3 minimum wage salaries in Colombia right now are around 3,900,000 Colombian pesos. Let's talk about the rentista visa. This type of visa requires a higher income than the digital nomad visa. The income that you gotta prove is that every month you don't make less than 10 minimum wage salaries, which will be around a little bit more than 14 million Colombian pesos. So the migrant visas. With the migrant visa, we can expect to stay in Colombia for a more permanent time. So let's start with the most common ones. Let's start with the marriage visa. Marriage visa is a visa intended for foreigners that are married to a Colombian citizen. Of course, they will ask you a lot of questions. They will find out if the relationship is a real relationship. Let's talk about the retirement visa. You need to get a pension, and the pension has to be granted by the pension fund. You need to prove that you have an income that comes from your pension, or your pension income is not worth less than 3 minimum wage salaries. You are obligated to provide a health insurance policy with coverage in Colombia, and this coverage needs to cover things like death, repatriation, hospitalization, and pre-existing conditions. for the time that you're going to stay in the country. Now, we have the investor's visa. If you're thinking about making an investment on real estate, it is very important that before doing this, you do the process with a due diligence. It is required that you make a minimum investment of 350 minimum wage salaries on a property. But it is also very important that you're 100% owner of this property.
I'm curious to know what the process would be like going from this tourist permit into these different types of visas like the migrant visa.
I always recommend my customers to take their time to think about making this lifetime decision. So let's say you're coming to Colombia, you're 100% sure that you want to move to Colombia. I highly recommend you to contact me, to contact your immigration attorney before you even come to Colombia. Talk about the process, and I will let you know what is the paperwork and all the requirements that you need to meet in order to apply for your visa. Some of the documents that you will need to submit, those documents need to be requested while you are in the country of origin. For example, if you're an American citizen and you're going to apply for a retirement visa, you need to request an FBI background check. If you cannot apply on those 180 days, we have another possibility. You can leave the country, fly to your country of origin, and from your country of origin, at the nearest consulate from the place where you live, we can submit your application.
So let's dive in a bit more about the marriage visa, because some of my viewers, they're single, they might be my age or retirees. They're thinking about, well, I'm with this new significant other, and I'm thinking about the marriage visa.
Okay.
But some of them are worried about protecting themselves and their assets. So what would be the info you have for them?
A marriage is a partnership. As soon as you have this conversation with the fiance or the person that you want to get married with, you can follow some processes and you can do certain things to protect your assets and to protect your patrimony. First, let's talk about the prenuptial agreement. It's a way of establishing rules about the way the things that you have together are going to be managed. You can say, this property that I'm going to buy with my own money after the marriage is going to be 100% mine. Now, let's talk about the other way of protecting your assets, your patrimony, and it's through liquidation of the partnership. Just by getting married, the partnership is created. If you get married and after you get married, you liquidate the partnership, the society that you have with your spouse, then all of the assets that you're going to get after the liquidation are going to be yours.
Here's what everyone wants to know. What about real estate for an investor visa?
If you're thinking about making an investment on real estate, it is very important that before doing this, you do the process with a due diligence. You need to be careful about the title analysis, the negotiation. It is also very important that you do the correct legalization of the money, because we have a system with the Banco de la República. Without this registration, it is not possible to apply for this type of visa. But this process also requires you to bring the money in the correct way. And for this matter, I recommend you to do it through an EMC, intermediario del mercado cambiario. They will bring the money to Colombia, and then you can do the sale. You can close the sale, you can close the deal. After that, you hire an attorney. This person helps you with the legalization. And then we have something called extract from Banco de la República. And this extract is one of the documents that would allow you to prove that you made a foreign investment and that you can apply for an investor's visa. The most common way of getting the residency in Colombia is after accumulating certain period of time of being a migrant visa holder. Then, for example, for marriage visa, after 3 consecutive years of being a marriage visa holder, you can apply for your residency. For retirement, investors, you gotta be a retirement visa holder and an investor's visa holder for at least 5 consecutive years in order for you to get your residency.
Well, thank you so much, Maria, for all this super detailed information. Clearly, there's a lot more stuff you can talk about. You're super professional and educated in this field.
You're welcome. I'm very happy to help you. If you have any questions or something that you want to discuss about the process of moving to Colombia, please contact me. I will be happy to help you and to give you additional information.
We have Maria's information in the details below. The best way to contact you is probably through your WhatsApp and the website that you have.
Yes, I prefer to do it via WhatsApp. If you want to, you can write me an email, but the fastest way of contacting me is via WhatsApp.
I actually got Maria's contact through a person named Rob. And here I have Rob right in front of me. I wanted to get a bit of information about Maria Jose and what she helped you do here in Colombia in terms of visas.
I found out about her through online. I had a couple of not so great experiences with other lawyers, and so I was a little bit apprehensive, and I'm trying to get a retirement visa here. She was so responsive. She asked for all the information. She got right back to me. And then what I really liked is that I had another problem about getting one document from a hospital in Cartagena. And I was explaining the situation. I said, I'm having all this problem, and I was ready to move on. She said, hold on. She said, you don't know that you send this official document, they have 15 days to reply. I said, really? She says, yeah, let me send it over to you.
We have a friend in common actually that is going through a real estate purchase. He actually ended up contacting Maria for some help on this. Can you chat a bit about James and what he did?
Yeah, James, great guy. We were just going back and forth like we do every couple of days. He's got this problem, this lawyer asking for more money and more money before they even do anything. And I just said, listen, there's a woman that I've been dealing with about my retirement and then the hospital form, Maria. I said, you ought to just talk to her and see what the deal is. And so he reached out to her and she was quick to respond. And he texted me, he said, night and day.